Hello and welcome to another devlog of Runes of Aereal. So let me show you what I'm going to demonstrate to you today, what I've been up to. What I've been up to now is implementing two traits, and those traits are the Rage trait and the Petrification trait. So the Rage trait, once per combat, have the ability to double your damage, and the Petrification here is once per combat, petrify all your enemies. So those two traits have been implemented. I'm going to start a sandbox here, a sandbox where I have two predefined profiles here. Let's go for the petrify one here, and here at the bottom you can see I've added these traits where you can add one or multiple traits, and I've added petrification here. So let's start the game. And what I've done is added an extra button here on the top, so whenever the game starts, this button comes into play, and I can click it once per combat.
Petrified.
The petrification activates and the button disappears, so I cannot activate it twice. So let's do something to some enemy, and let's end our turn.
Enemy turn.
And immediately it goes to the player turn again. So this button appears here. Let's start another sandbox and demonstrate the Rage trait. There we are. And with the Rage trait, something very similar happens. So you can see here that I've added both the petrification and the Rage trait. We have two buttons here. There's also this Rage trait, and we click it. It says Rage, and then at that time, this icon is going to be appearing here. And whenever I do damage, it will be 6 damage, but it will double -12 because there's a Rage trait effectively. So that's the demonstration of the two traits. Now let's see how that exactly works. Now for the HUD here, if we go back to the battle, here you can see I've added two HUD buttons here, the Rage button and the Petrification button. There's also this little placeholder here. It's a placeholder, and this one is called Petrify Expand, and this is called Rage Expand. These two placeholders, together with these two HUDs here at the top, Rage Collapse, are the two placeholders that are used to expand and collapse those two buttons. I've added another event sheet here called the HUD, where I have you can see here the collapse petrify, collapse rage, expand petrify, etc. So if I expand, then we pick the petrify expand and we tween effectively this button here towards this petrify expand placeholder, and the collapse does vice versa. It tweens towards the petrify collapse. That's actually what it does. So what happens here in prepare battle, I will show you the function prepare battle that's called whenever the battle starts. Actually, I've added these two lines here: mass petrifications left and rage activations left. So the traits are being stored here in this dictionary, and if we find petrification, then there will be one petrification left. And if you find rage, there will be one rage activation left. So if none of those traits are activated, these numbers will stay 0, and you will not have the buttons activated actually. So in the interaction scheme, you can see here that I have both the petrify button click and the rage button click, where in the button click already we check if it is expanded, of course, because if it's not expanded, if it's behind the HUD, let's say, you shouldn't be able to click it. So unable to encompass that, we have this instance variable called expanded, which is set whenever it expands, and it becomes 0 again whenever it collapses. And when we're not executing and we just have rate activations left or mass petrifications left, it will execute those functions. So we'll subtract 1, and then we set the rage activated here. We need to do that to be able to check if the damage is doubled or not. Yeah? This will decrease the rage activation, so next time we cannot click it anymore. We refresh the hero states to display the icon of the rage. We show the message of the rage. We collapse the button, and we've also created another statistic stat use rage trait to keep track of how many times this trait has been used. And very similar things are being done here for the mass petrification, where we see that all enemies are petrified, and this is petrified sound, is the narrator saying that, of course. And for the rest, it's pretty the same thing here, an extra sound being played. Things here pretty simple. So of course here we have the enemy apply damage function, and in the enemy apply damage function we'll just check if the rate trait is activated, and we set damage variable times 2 to encompass the rate extra damage. So let's see here, and of course we have the show message where we have an extra rage message here. So it basically expands on everything we already have in the framework of the game, but we add 2 buttons to encompass those 2 traits. So that's as initial thing, actually initial evolution towards implementing several traits into the game. So not much to say for the rest, I think. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please like, please subscribe, and see you next time.